That's probably what knocked a couple of screws loose in his head. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Janae, if you didn't know, and today's video is another true crime episode. So if you're ready, let's go. Alright y'all, so here are the nails that I did this week. Literally just a simple pink chrome, and I'm actually aggravated as hell about them because y'all, I had a vision for the nails that I wanted to do, and sadly the vision died because I could not execute said vision. The amount of times that I was drilling and filing these nails to get this polish off is absolutely insane. And the vision was so cute, and I just could not get it to do what I wanted to do. So after all of that, I ended up with these basic ass pink chrome nails. Now they cute or whatever, they like cute, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like the pink chrome look, it's super cute, right? But I'm just a little disappointed because this just wasn't the vision. But I'm gonna stop talking about them because I'm really getting upset just thinking about the whole process. These nails took me like 4 days to do. 4 days to end up with this? No, it was like 2. Stop over exaggerating. It was like 2 days. It was 2 days, but still. Anyways, let me apologize for the previous video taking so long to come out. Y'all, I'm sorry because that video has been recorded and, well, it wasn't edited, but it's been recorded and sitting in the editor for all of last week. But I think that I get scared when I see my channel growing and I see an influx of people come to my channel. I think I get scared. I get nervous. No, I don't think. I know that I get nervous because we homegirls, so I'm gonna just tell y'all this. I think I'm scared of like YouTube success. I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds probably stupid, but it makes me nervous. And so I go into this mode where I'm over critical of myself. And I really don't even know if I want to tell y'all that because I don't want y'all to stop subscribing because y'all think I'm gonna get scared. But I'm gonna keep uploading, I'm gonna keep staying consistent, I'm gonna keep putting out these videos because I enjoy it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into today's case. And if you have been a subscriber for a little minute now, or if y'all just been watching and ain't subscribed, I don't know why you would do that. But if you've been here at my channel for a little while, then you know that I am going from the lakes to the forests of America in alphabetical order. So from Alabama to Wyoming, and today we are in the state of Kentucky. So it's August 2002 in Warsaw, Kentucky, and a woman named Debbie has just broken up with her boyfriend. And her boyfriend is 30-year-old Marco Chapman, well, ex-boyfriend now, is 30-year-old Marco Chapman. Now, there's not a lot of details out there about Debbie and Marco's relationship, so I don't know if she knew about Marco's past, which we'll get to in a little bit, or not. But what she did know was that Marco was an abusive boyfriend to her. And this is something that she would talk to her friend and neighbor, Carolyn Marksberry, about. And Carolyn was a married mother of 3 kids. She had 2 daughters named Courtney and Chelbi, and then she had a son named Cody. And these kids were not Carolyn's current husband's kids. They were from her previous marriage to a man named Kurt Sharon. And being that Carolyn is currently married, she's obviously divorced from Kurt. But the divorce seemed to be an amicable one. It seemed to be one in which both of the parents, Carolyn and Kurt, put the kids first. And Kurt remained very much active in his kids' lives. And Carolyn's new husband, Charles Marksberry, he absolutely loved the kids as well. He loved and treated those kids as if they were his own. But he also knew that they had an active dad in their life. And truth be told, Carolyn really wasn't going to have it no other way. If she would have met Charles and he wasn't really feeling her kids, she would have kicked him to the curb quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because Carolyn's main priority was always her children. So that's just a little bit about Carolyn and what her family dynamic was looking like. Now, like I said, this is Debbie's friend. Remember we was talking about Debbie who had just broke up with her boyfriend Marco? Yeah. So being that Carolyn was a listening ear for Debbie, she opened her home to her sometimes because Debbie was scared of Marco. And because of Debbie's fear of Marco, Carolyn would sometimes open her home to Debbie and allow her to sleep over. And when Debbie would come telling Carol all the things that Marco was doing to her, Carolyn would tell her friend, like, girl, you deserve better than this. He don't deserve you. That nigga don't deserve my friend. You know, she was hitting her with that. And Debbie was like, you know what? You right. I don't deserve that. That nigga don't deserve me. So this is when Debbie decided to break things off with Marco. Like I told y'all in the beginning, she had just broke up with Marco. It was because her friend was telling her, like, girl, do better. Now, before we get into any further details of the case, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about Marco. He was born on September 4th of 1971 or 1972. I've seen both, but it was either 1971 or 1972. But September 4th stayed consistent. Is that Beyonce's birthday? Anyways, he was born in West Virginia, and it's been said that he didn't have the best upbringing because, according to what I read, both of his parents were alcoholics. And his dad was physically and sexually abusive towards him. And his mama wasn't no better because I read that she had knocked him upside the head with a skillet a couple times. And I'm not even trying to be funny when I say this, but that's probably what knocked a couple of screws loose in his head, because what he goes on to do later on in this case, it just don't make no sense. But if that is true, I do feel bad for the kid Marco. Now, this grown-up Marco who did what he did, he can fuck off. The baby, the kid who was being abused by his mother and his dad, and they was alcoholics, and he lived in this tumultuous household, we feel bad for him. I do. I don't know about y'all, but I feel bad for him because he didn't deserve that as a child. No child deserves to grow up in that type of environment, but he did. And because of the abuse from his parents, Marco will often think about ending himself. And I don't know his situation at school, if he was bullied or if he wasn't, but he did stop going to school in the 8th grade. And he ultimately ended up turning to drugs as, I guess, a coping mechanism. And now this is when we're about to get into Marco's past, like I told y'all about. Remember I said I didn't know if Debbie knew about this or not, but I'm gonna tell y'all. So like I said, remember, he ended up turning to drugs, which is probably why in 1994, while he was living in Texas, he was probably needing money to support his drug habit, and he turned to robbing banks. And he robbed a bank in Texas, but he wasn't good at it because he was ultimately caught, and he ended up pleading guilty to this bank robbery charge, and he served his time, and he was out by October of 2000. It is at this point that he was rearrested and charged with the assault of a University of Virginia student, and he was found guilty of this as well. And he served whatever time he had for that, and then was out again. And this time when he got out, he was somehow able to become a youth soccer coach. How? I don't know. It baffles me because this man done robbed banks, done did time for it. He done assaulted a University of Virginia student, got found guilty, and did time for it. And now y'all letting him coach y'all children, y'all youth, our future? So moving ahead now, it's August 23rd, 2002, and Debbie has broken up with Marco about a week ago at this point. And Marco, going back to his old coping mechanisms, has been on a 2-day drug and alcohol binge. And at this point, he's running out of money, and he needs more money for more drugs because he's not done. This 2-day binge, that wasn't enough. He needs more. And he decides that he knows exactly where he gonna get this money from. And that's from Debbie's neighbor, Carolyn. Now, he knew Carolyn because he had hung out with her and her husband before through Debbie. Him and Debbie would go over there to hang out with Carolyn and her husband, Charles, on more than one occasion. They would play cards together. They would laugh, joke, drink, eat. You know, just have a good time with one another. So this is how he knew Carolyn. And he was also privy to the news that Carolyn would be alone with the kids at this time because Charles, he worked at North American Stainless, and Marco knew that Charles had been in Spain for the past 2 months for training. So between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning on August 23rd, Marco would go banging on Carolyn's door. So Carolyn goes to the door and she sees that it's Marco. Now, she do think that it's a little weird that this man is at her house between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, but she really don't have no reservations because it's Marco. She knows him. She's been around him. Now, she don't like him too much, but she knew him. So she opened her door and let him in. And as soon as Carolyn turned around to like let Marco in the house, he attacked her and put a knife to her throat. And he demanded that she give him all of the money that was in her wallet. And she complies because Marco, what the fuck? But unfortunately, her compliance wasn't enough. And Marco decided to tie her up with a vacuum cleaner cord. He also gagged her, SA'd her, and stabbed her 15 times. Now, remember, Carolyn is the mother to 3 children. And her kids are not at their father Kurt's house at this point. They're in the house. They are sleeping, but they're there nonetheless. So in the midst of Carolyn being attacked by Marco, Carolyn's kids wake up. Courtney, who is 10, Chelbi, who is 7, and little Cody, who is only 6 years old. They all wake up. And sadly, Marco attacks them as well, stabbing them and slitting all of their throats. And he thought that he had killed them all. What he didn't realize was that 10-year-old Courtney was only playing dead. He had not killed her. And as soon as Marco wasn't paying attention, Courtney got up and ran out of the back door to her neighbor Debbie's house. So Courtney bangs on the door, Debbie opens it, and she tells Debbie that Marco is over there. He's trying to kill everybody. He's like stabbed my mama, my sister, and my brother, and he tried to kill me. I'm not dead. Call the police. So Debbie calls the police. So first responders get to the house and they find Carolyn clinging to life, suffering from multiple stab wounds, and they rush her off to the hospital. Unfortunately, her 2 children, Chelbi and Cody, were deceased at the scene. And although Courtney was badly injured and scared as hell, she was able to give the police a description of Marco. She told them what kind of car he was driving, and she told them what he was wearing. And kudos to Courtney because she's only 10 years old. She just faced the most traumatic thing ever, and she's able to accurately describe these things and verbalize everything that she and her family just went through. She's just such a little hero. Like, this was 2002, so she's like in her 30s or 40s now. But Courtney, 10-year-old Courtney, love. And because of Courtney's description, Marco was captured 8 hours later in West Virginia. And when the police pulled up on him, he basically told them, like, I want y'all to take me out. So he was going to try the take me out by cop method. But instead of taking him out, they took him into custody. And Marco said that his only intent was to rob Carolyn. And he also said that him and Carolyn had been having a consensual sexual affair for the past year, which I really find hard to believe because she didn't even like you. She didn't like the way you was treating her friend. So why the hell would she enter into a sexual relationship with you knowing what type of person you is when she had a good man in Spain doing training for his job? Like, make it make sense. It don't. But nonetheless, he said that he had went over there to have sex with her, and then she had started bugging out when he told her that he was about to rob her, which, what else did you expect her to do, sir? If that was the truth. It's not. But what did you expect her to do when you told her you was about to rob her? You thought she was going to be calm, cool, and collected? Anyways, he said that once she started freaking out, once he told her he was about to rob her, that's when he decided to tie her up with the vacuum cleaner cord. And then he said her kids woke up, and that's when the other attacks happened. Like, sir, she don't even like you. She just married her husband a year ago. And that's not to say that some marriages don't fall apart within the first year, but she was happy with Charles, and Charles was happy with her. Anyways, nobody believed what he was talking about, and he ended up being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of burglary, 1 count of robbery, and some other charges. Now, I really don't know the difference between burglary and robbery, but he was charged with them both. and he pled guilty in October of 2004. And during his sentencing hearing, he asked for the death penalty. He asked to be put to death. And in my opinion, this is just my own thoughts, I feel like when people ask to be put to death, they're trying to play this reverse psychology game. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ask them to put me to death so that they don't give me what I want. You know? But the courts gave him exactly what he asked for. And on December 14th, 2004, he got exactly that. The death sentence. And he was executed by lethal injection on November 21st, 2008. Now, again, my own personal thoughts. I think that he did go over there to rob Carolyn for some money for drugs. But I also think that he knew that he at least wanted to torture Carolyn, because he knew that Carolyn was the one who convinced Debbie to break up with him. So I think he held a little bit of rage from that. Because, girl, why did you telling her to break up with me? Why? Well, we know why. But I'm saying in his mind, he like, you're a bitch. I think he was mad at Carolyn for encouraging her friend to do better. And I don't know if I said it already, but Carolyn and Courtney did end up surviving this attack. And 10-year-old Courtney is a grown woman now. And I really do just pray that Carolyn and Courtney have healed or are healing the best way that they can. Because Courtney grown now. And I just hope that she knows that her 10-year-old self is a fucking hero. She's a superstar. She is amazing, awesome, wonderful. All of the things, even though she says she does feel guilty, because I believe that she said her brother called out to her while she was running to get help, like, don't leave me, and he did end up passing away. So I know that that probably hurt her to the core, but she did save somebody's life. She saved her mother's life, because I don't doubt that if Courtney hadn't got up and ran to Debbie's house, that Carolyn, she would have passed away from immense blood loss. But 10-year-old Courtney, girl, you a rock star, you a superstar, and grown Courtney, hold on to that and believe that and know that. Yeah, y'all, that is all I have for today's case. Thank you all so very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. So it's August 2002, and damn, did I say Debbie? Did I call her Debbie? I hope so. And this is something that she would confide in her neighbor and friend with. No, in her neighbor. She had a daughter named Carolyn. No, she didn't. She's Carolyn. And Debbie, no. And Carolyn was sometimes, anyways, she was, no. So, and he was out by October of 20, no. And Marco going back to his old coping mechanisms is on it. Him and Debbie will go over there and hang out with Charles and And on December 2000, no.